My name is Jon Welch, and this is Robert Guerrero, and welcome to the Then and Now Blading YouTube channel. I'm here in Drummondville, Quebec with Robert. I came today to visit him as he's been staying here for a few weeks, just kind of chilling out. I ran into Robert a couple weekends ago in Sherbrooke for a skate jam there, and it was really fun to see him and catch up. So I decided to come back up to Quebec today and spend the night. We went skating, and we found a trail. It was pretty good. How was your day?
Yeah, the day's been incredible.
Yeah,
it's
super nice.
Super nice catching up with Jon after so long.
So Robert and I have known each other for a very long time. Robert grew up outside of San Jose, and he first met Jayson Howard back then, who is somebody I grew up skating with in Austin. So tell me about how you and Jayson actually met.
Okay.
And when was this exactly?
So I would say it was, I think probably the late 1980s. And I ended up going to the same elementary school as Jayson Howard. So I've known him since kindergarten, going to this elementary school called Ruskin Elementary in San Jose, California. And we became best friends, like brothers, and we were over each other's houses like all the time, staying the night. Summer times, we were with each other all the time, all day. We grew up playing football together, and then he got rollerblades along with a bunch of other friends, and I got rollerblades, and so we just started rollerblading together, and that was probably in 1992, 93. And then after middle school, which was, I think, 93, Jayson moved to Austin, Texas. And it was really hard for me because Jayson was my best friend. But he moved to Austin, and at the time we were playing roller hockey, and in that time, he started to play roller hockey when he moved to Austin, and that's where he met Lonnie Gallegos. And I think they were on the same team. I don't remember the exact history, but they became friends. And then one year, I have an aunt in Texas because the side of my father's family is from Texas. So I went to go visit Jayson in Austin. And we went downtown Austin, and from what I remember, it was really cold weather. I think it even snowed in that time. But we went skating in downtown, and we met up with other people, and one of those other people actually happened to be Jon, and he was there, and I can't remember who you were with, but Jon was there. And so we were skating downtown Austin. I had oxygens on at the time, and I had asked them if anyone had done a Unity on a very particularly popular kink trail called the Radisson Kink in downtown Austin. And Jon had said nobody had Unity'd it, so of course that's what I wanted to do, and I did.
And he did. And it's a really cool rail that's no longer skatable. And we're trying to figure out where that clip is. I think we resolved that it might have been a photo that I shot for the print version of Scum magazine, but I still need to see if I can come across the footage, because it seems like, I'm not exactly sure. We're gonna have to find that out. And going back to roller hockey, that's something I did too in the 90s before grinding. But I didn't meet Jayson and Lonnie through roller hockey. I actually met them after aggressive skating began, and I didn't have anybody to skate with. I went to the local skate shop, and I made a flyer saying, looking for people to skate with little pull tabs with my phone number.
No way.
And that's how I got the phone call from Lonnie and Jayson.
Really?
Yeah, they pulled the pull tab, and they called me up, and I met them at Heroin Rails. And Heroin Rails is a long handicap rail next to some shrubs that had a lot of heroin needles in it. You probably skated that rail before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the first time I met them. And they were the first two people from that crew, that I've now known ever since, that I met. After that, it was Frank Stoner. and then like Mike Shields, all after that. But yeah, Robert came down quite a bit. Most summers in the 90s, Robert was in Austin, and we filmed. We did some sections together in later videos. We had some clips in earlier videos, which we're going to go over some of those later here tonight. And we had some photos in Scum Magazine that we worked on. And Robert used to rock the Transit shirts.
I think I actually claimed Farmland as a sponsor.
See, that's awesome. So I had a company called Transit early on that was clothing. It was t-shirts and jeans, and they were kind of like crazy cut jeans, but they were done at a Levi's factory in San Antonio, so the quality was good. The cut was a bit wild. And I changed the name later to Transient because Transit skateboards came along. And then I had a second brand called Farmland, which Robert was one of our top pros. Look at him now. Still a top pro. Right?
Look at us now. Still hanging out.
So yeah, we're still hanging out, and Robert spent a lot of time in Austin, skating with all the Austin guys, became good friends with Lonnie, right? And that transitioned into filming all the feet videos with him.
Yeah.
And then, like we were mentioned earlier with No One's Children, like going there to film your last trick, the half cab soul on the kink drill.
Oh, man.
And we went, it was me, you, and Haffy. We went 3 different times. And the third time, you did it. And who did not do that trick? Or that rail?
Chris didn't do that rail. And I remember it was like, it's one of the things that I did that at the time Chris didn't do, which was like unheard of because Chris does everything, so that was like the one thing I had that Chris didn't do.
And see, Chris, the only other rail I went to as more than that was the 666 rail with Chris, which that one still rubs me wrong because I went there like 6 times with Chris. And then he go once with Lonnie and then did it. So you were there too, right?
Yeah.
So those are some big rails and crazy times. What skates were you on when you were doing that half cab soul? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. I had the UFS Thrones. I think that's what they were, the UFS Thrones. Jon Julio at the time still skated for USD, and we went to pick up John Starr at his house to go skate, because in those times I was skating a lot with Jon Julio and John Starr because we all still lived in San Jose. And he gave them to me out of his trunk, and I remember how juiced I was. And I skated those skates for a while, and then skated USDs for a while after that.
That's really cool. I remember you skating the Thrones, and that video, No One's Children, was our last real project together. Lonnie filmed some of it, and I filmed some of it, but some of the tricks I filmed with you were pretty crazy, like the half cab solo, but that disaster frontside was probably one of the craziest tricks I've seen somebody do, and you did eat some serious shit on that one.
Dude, that fall I took and I missed. Oh, God. It was like one of the more hardcore falls I've ever taken. Because you have to really gap over a rail and land on it. And the angle was weird as well. But for some reason, it was just one of those things I felt like I could do. And I don't know I think Carlos Pianowski was there too. And I had his energy there. I had his energy there, and he was hyping me up. And I remember that in that time, I would see Carlos every now and then somewhere. And for some reason, when we would skate with each other, we'd hype each other up. And it was just really cool to experience Carlos's energy in that way.
And Damien and Nick were there too.
Were they?
Yeah, Damien Wilson and Nick Wood were there. So it's Damien Wilson, Nick Wood, you, and Pianowski, and possibly Robbie Whitcomb might have been there too.
Okay.
But that was a fun session in San Diego. Now, that was our second section we filmed together, which I really liked that section. I thought it came together really well. I don't remember exactly how I approached you to film it. Do you?
I don't either, dude. I have no idea. I know that like to finish filming it, I was in San Jose. I was living in San Diego for a while, but kind of realized that where I was living, I just didn't really like it. So I moved back to San Jose. But then I came back, and that's when we finished it. And I stayed with you. I can't remember exactly where you were living, but I stayed with you.
Yeah, it was a fun times. And when he was living in San Diego, he was right by Dallas King too.
Oh yeah. So I used to live down the street from Dallas Kink, but I didn't like. I moved to San Diego to live with my mother and help her. She had just moved there, but I didn't have a car, and it was in La Mesa, so it was really far away from everyone. And to get to downtown was just like a super mission that involved taking a train and all this stuff. So a lot of times when I was living there, I just went with my mini disc player, my headphones, and I went and skated Dallas Kink by myself, and would just skate it for hours and just get hyped on people that were walking through the park, because it was a park. So people would see me doing it and just get like, like cheer me on. And that was just, I thought that was really cool. So I used to just skate it a lot.
And the clip I filmed of you on Dallas Kink,
yeah,
that was a trick you really hadn't done before, right? Or the switch up.
Well, I did the switch up.
And then...
I did the top torque sole to alley-oop sole.
That
I never did before.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. That was a really cool clip. So yeah, that was a fun video, and that was my last video with Daily Bread. Did that in Quattro, but before all of that, after you came to visit Austin, we filmed for 2 videos. We filmed for Scratched in America's Army. America's Army came out in '97. Scratched around early '98. Then later in '98, Lonnie and I made a road trip out to Northern California. Went to LA too and San Diego. But in Northern California, I filmed a section with you, with Jared Majors, and with Erick Garcia. So we pumped out quite a bit of skating in a couple weeks to get 3 profiles in the Bay Area, plus a Bay Area section. So do you remember filming for that video? You remember that trip?
I do. I had razor flats, which I actually really liked. They were gifted to me from John Abina. But yeah, I remember that time. That was actually, wow, that time in rollerblading, anyone knows from the Bay Area, like that late 90s, mid to late 90s Bay Area skating was just like the best. And we were all skating really good. We were all having like so much fun and staying at each other's houses and skating every single weekend. That was during a time where Friday night skates was probably the best thing that ever happened in rollerblading in San Francisco. And we would all meet, and then on the weekend we would meet and we would all skate together every single weekend. It was crazy. So Jon happened to come during that period of time and film. So that was really cool. And that's when Scum magazine was really kicking.
Yeah, that was like right in the middle of everything. And then in '99 it won South by Southwest, and then it died after I moved to San Diego to work for Daily Bread because Angie wouldn't let me continue it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that time in Bay Area was phenomenal. I know we had mentioned earlier when we were talking that, like earlier than that, it was very cliquish in the Bay Area. And you kind of broke that clique by leaving your San Jose crew and hanging out with JSF.
Yeah.
And then after that, it started getting a little bit more like integrated between the scenes, right?
Yeah. I think, just as we got older, everyone got older, and then everyone was kind of just mixing, period. But also around that time, Julio was starting to form a lot of things, I think, and bring the Bay together in some ways, in some new ways.
So Julio's really been a driving force in skating for a long time now. So going back to your early days in the Bay Area, you had mentioned that Jason Howard was one of your first people that you started skating with? Who else was in your early crews?
Well, it's interesting because there was a few crews that happened over the years. Jayson was a part of the very first crew. That was the playing roller hockey and just playing tag and just having fun and skating in the street and doing that kind of thing. But I had a bunch of friends that stopped skating over time, but then that morphed into a new San Jose crew with me and one of my close friends, Travis Leach, and another friend from San Jose, Donnie Garcia, who I used to go to high school with. And then, actually, one day, a couple of my friends went and took the bus to Silver Creek High School for the first time to just kind of go adventure around, and that's where they ran into Jayson Reduta and Quang Do, and they were there, and they like made new friends, and this was like something new for us in San Jose. We didn't know even people were skating on that side of San Jose. You would have to take a bus really far. But then after that weekend that they met them, then they started to meet with us, and then we became essentially like a 408 crew, which we had like, that was our name, and we were like super proud of like our area and representing San Jose. Even at one point we had t-shirts. We had like 408 t-shirts and stickers, and we just thought we were tight.
Well, yeah, that was the area code days. I mean, we had 512 in Texas, in Austin.
Yeah.
Remember that? Now Austin's got like 3 area codes. Oh, shit. That's so many people. Back then, 512 went all the way to Corpus Christi. And the Corpus Christi kids claimed 512 too. So then they lost 512. It was only Austin, so we got it 100% ownership. But, those area code days were funny. The crew thing was funny. Definitely, the competitive nature of blading back then with the crew mentality might have been an issue with keeping people in the sport a little bit, but I'm glad that those days are gone. Obviously, you still have some like old school crews like JSF and stuff, but they're very positive and they do positive stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like how crews were back in the day where it was very cliquey and you didn't hang out with people in your crews, and you would kick people out of your crews, which happened to you before. You got kicked out of your crew.
Yeah. My friends were very. I grew up in a very critical crew. We were very hard on each other, and it was kind of a part of our nature of like pushing one another through like shit talking. And sometimes it was I was not very good at it. I was kind of like the sensitive kind of dude in the crew, so I was kind of the one who always took the kind of majority of the shit talking. And one summer, my freshman going into sophomore year of high school, I used to play high school football, and they used to say that you had to work out every day in the summer, and that was like my skating time. So I was missing all of the sessions, that were happening in summertime. When you're a kid skating, you skate every day. And I would go to meet my friends, and they would just like hound me like all the time. Like, why are you going to play football, man? That's whack. You're whack. And, blah, 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 and all this shit. And then finally, one day I get the guts to quit football, which I wanted to do because like skating for me was what I did in the summer. And I used to enjoy the balance of sports at this time and then skating at this time. And so I finally quit, and then I go to meet my friends at the skate spot and tell them like, hey, I quit football, everything's all good now, to kind of get this acceptance, because I'm like 13, or 14. And actually, I get there, and I'm all excited to tell them. And before I can even get that out, thinking that like finally I can say this and they won't talk shit to me or put me down anymore, one of our friends comes up to me and says, "So we all talked, and we decided we don't want you in the crew anymore." And I was just like devastated, like I was like
Poor Robert.
I was like devastated. And they said that, and then they left. They left me at the park alone. And this was at the beginning of summer. And I remember like I just sat there, and I even like cried, and I sat there. But then like I had my skates on, and I was at this park that had really sick ledges, so I just started skating. And then I was just like inside of myself, I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna keep skating, and I'm gonna get better than all of them.
And you did.
And this kind of thing in my head. And so then I started skating, and I was still living in San Jose at the time because I was, 14, I think. I was about to be a sophomore in high school. And I had to skate every day in summer by myself at Murrill.
Okay,
I skated to school with you. I think I have a clip and some.
Yeah, we filmed there a couple of videos.
I used to like go skating there by myself, and I used to go skating by myself. Eventually, the time passed, and we became friends again, and I started skating with them again, and then we started skating with each other again. But also, just over time, I realized that I liked to skate around all kinds of different people, and I eventually branched out of our crew because we were very tight, and we never really left San Jose. We just stayed in San Jose and skated all of our spots. But over time, I ended up. That's when maybe like 97 or something, I started to go to Friday night skates, and then I started staying with Jared Majors, and then Erick Garcia would come pick us up on Saturday, and we would go skate somewhere in the East Bay. And that's basically how JSF started, was we started hanging out every single weekend and traveling around in Erick Garcia's Buick Skylark, listening to like cassette tapes and singing out loud and going on road trips, and it was a lot of fun.
And Jared Majors is back in blading.
He is.
He started a couple years ago, came back. I saw him at Blading Cup. It was really cool to see him. He had a section in the video that you had in Urban Decay. Had a section of that like you did, and he was a really nice guy back then. But he quit for a long time.
Yeah, I
got into
think
music
he went
and
into,
stuff.
really got into music and was traveling with music and doing that.
Yeah, that's really cool. What was your favorite era, like in your skating time?
In my skating?
Yeah. It been like the 90s, 2000s, late 2000s. It was like a time like that really stuck out to where you had the most fun, or you traveled the most, or something.
I would probably say it was the 90s, in the period where I started to go to Friday night skates I used to go there by myself from San Jose. Actually, I used to drive all the way from Morgan Hill because I had to move there in high school. I used to drive 2 hours every Friday. I would save my lunch money in the week and then drive all the way to San Francisco or Jared's house and go to Friday night skates by myself, and then skate on the East Bay with all the JSF dudes. I think those were probably some of my funnest times because, like I said, Erick Garcia would pick us up in his car and we just like wild out.
There's some wild guys in the Bay Area at that time. I mean, some characters. Some of the things that I witnessed in real life, like that party we went to. Me, Chris Peel, and Justin Buchanan show up there, and it's like the first thing we see is Pat Lennon on the balcony hitting golf balls at cars parked on the side of the road.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah. And then it was just like fights and crazy people on mushrooms. It was just crazy times. And we ended up sleeping in the car because it was too crazy and it started snowing. So, but so I wanted to get into, okay, we're in Quebec right now, which is a wonderful place. If you've never visited Quebec, I highly recommend it. The skating scene here is phenomenal. Montreal is popping off. So many skaters. Events all around Quebec this summer. Make the trip, visit it. Shop Boutique Solo Inline is the spot to check out. If you want to try skates on, they have everything. And they're not a sponsor. I just like the shop, so. But I will say, I do have the Now Blading t-shirts, which you can find on the website, link in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video with Robert, make sure and hit the like button. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. So, Robert, I want to talk to you about Quebec. We're in Quebec right now. Why are you in Quebec? Why are you here? What brought you here? Is this your first time in Quebec?
Okay, no, it's not my first time in Quebec. Quebec actually became kind of like a home to me. I think around 2011, I think it was about 2011, I was really getting into like free running, parkour style running. And at the time I was staying with Randy Spicer, Roadhouse. What's up?
You killed it, Blading Cup, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah. Roadhouse had invited me to come stay with him in Costa Mesa. And at the time I was living in Santa Cruz, doing a lot of free running close to the beach. I was like running and working out all day and doing all kinds of
Were
stuff.
you running with Jess D?
Yeah, I was running with Jess Darenforth.
Remember that? I don't remember you doing parkour, but I definitely remember you running with Jess Darenforth.
Yeah. But went to Randy's because he invited me to come stay with him. I left Santa Cruz. I went to Randy's, stayed with Randy for a long time, Randy and Matt Andrews. Randy told me that Robert Liavanos was making a logo for a parkour gym that Matthew Ledoux was starting. And instantly I just got super excited. And I immediately sent Robert Liavanos an email to get Matthew Ledoux's email, which I didn't know Matthew. All I knew was that he was like a super ninja. And that he was starting a gym that trains to be super ninjas. In my head, this was going on. So I got Matthew Ledoux's email, and I just, like I said, I'd never met him. I think maybe I met him one time and just like a hello. I sent him an email, and I just straight up asked him, I said, "Hey dude, I heard you're opening a gym. Can I come stay with you and train?" And he said yes. And I went to his house for a month.
That's
and
really cool.
We were training and hanging out. So we became just kind of like instant brothers. And then at the time I was skating for Rollerblade, and I was still in like my vagabond mode. So whenever there was an event on the East Coast, they would ask me where I was, because sometimes they would not know where I was, but they would need to buy me a plane ticket to go to New York. A lot of times it was New York. So they would buy me a plane ticket there, and then they would ask me where I would want to go. So I would say Montreal. And then I would fly to Matthew and hang out with him, and train and just be out in Quebec. It's beautiful here, out in the forest areas. And we would skate. We have posted many edits called Brothers of the Blade, which are still online now. On my Instagram, I have some clips of us together, because at his gym, they also had a skate box. So we would make these little edits, these Brothers of the Blade edits.
Is there some on YouTube?
Yeah. No, they're on Vimeo.
On
actually.
Vimeo.
Yeah, you have to find them on Vimeo. Matthew Ledoux has a Vimeo page there.
I'll see if I can find them and link them in the description below. If YouTube lets you link Vimeo, probably will. So yeah, cool. And skating with Matthew, Matthew's got a really unique style. You know, he blends parkour and his skating. What influence has he had on your skating? Or has he had an influence on your skating?
I think sometimes when I'm with him and we're skating, I just open my mind to moving differently, and I don't always go out and then just start moving as freely and differently as he does, but it's just inspiring for me to see him just openly move the way he wants to in a very free way, kind of outside of what anyone else is doing. He really just moves the way he wants to. So I think just the way he skates, is inspiring to me. Just watching him, watching him live, like in person. He's so strong and precise. He's like a ninja with everything he does. And he's very confident and, like I said, just precise. Just like his last section was Desert, that he made with Jonas Hansen.
Yeah, it's really good.
And he had told me he hadn't street skated in like 6 years. But
wow.
He wanted to make a section that he just told me. He just felt like he wanted to make a section. And he wanted to make it good. So he called up Jonas to come make it. And then he did. And I went with him. I met with him in Arizona to make it. And it just blew my mind that he could just decide to want to make a street section without skating street for years and then do it.
I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, he is a professional stuntman. So he does do a lot of crazy things with his body. So he probably gets, some sort of practice with blading related moves and falls in his professional work.
Well, he's a real professional, so he trains his body. He always trains. He never stops training. So he's always ready for doing whatever his mind wants to do. He's ready.
That's really cool. How long have you been in Quebec now?
So now I've been here, I think, for about a month. I was on the East Coast in Virginia visiting with Juan Mosqueda.
Oh, really? I didn't know you were with Juan.
Yeah, I was with Juan.
Awesome. Let's hear about that. What was going on in Virginia with Juan?
So Juan, I had spoken to Juan, but I hadn't spoken to Juan in many years. And he invited me to come and visit him and see what he's doing. And he works on movies and does different projects.
That's really cool.
With camera work and finding sets and locations, and just works on different movies, actual movies too. So he invited me to come see the life he was living with his fiance. He just was like, come, see what I'm doing. So I went and I helped actually paint. I helped him do some painting on some walls of a building him and his fiance just bought, and just spent a lot of really good quality time. Just some bro time.
That's cool. I gotta go visit him.
Yeah, you should.
Sick.
Yeah.
So how long were you there for?
So I was there for a month, actually.
Okay.
I was there for a month. And then, you know, like I had spoken about earlier, I had spent so many years whenever, anytime I was on the East Coast, I would come in to here in Quebec and visit Matthew. And it was no different. As soon as I was on the East Coast, it was like Matthew was on my radar. So after I was done in Virginia hanging out with Juan, I talked to Matthew and asked him if I could come visit him, because it had been many years with COVID and not being able to travel and all of that. It had been a very long time since I've been here, and I really missed him, and I missed being here. I missed Canada, actually. I really love Canada.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
And I live down the street and you didn't even know it.
Yeah. And I freaking had no idea this dude was just like an hour away. But when I actually got here, Matthew had told me Jon was here, or Jon had like came to the Solo Boutique art show.
Yeah, Charles Nantel had his art show there about a month ago or so. Mm-hmm. And I saw Mathieu there, and Charles, and the Quebec City boys.
Another incredible Canadian skater that's still killing it. Like Charles, really,
really good.
Really, really good still. And he's an OG skater too. So for me to see him still skating on the level that he is, just to still be skating at all, is really nice for me to see. But yeah, like Canada has like a special place in my heart, and the skaters here do.
So for your skating, since you've gotten here, so Robert is still skating skates too small for him. So back in the early 2000s, a lot of skaters I know, like John Elliott, they didn't want to get in a 10-11 shell, so they would squeeze in an 8-9 shell. That's why John Elliott always took his skates off immediately after session, complained about his toes hurting, threw his skates, had club toes, you know, aesthetics over comfort. Well, Robert decided he was going to wait 20 more years to realize that small skates aren't good for your feet and they hurt. Is that about right?
Yeah, but even funny to rewind a little bit further, back in the late 90s, John Elliott had made a trip with Dave Payne to Northern California, and that's where I first met him. But for whatever reason, he really liked me and my skating. And one time I took a trip to Orange County, where when he first moved to the United States, that's where he was living. I stayed with him, and he told me just like straight up, I want you on Razors. I'm going to take you to Razors and get you some skates. And that's what happened. He took me to Razors. I got my first pair of super flats, size 9, which is what we're talking about. They're too tight and they always hurt in the first couple weeks. But I didn't want to skate the size 10 boot because it was just too big. But John Elliott started me on this cycle of skating skates too small that hurt and probably shouldn't have been skated. And I skated for Razors for years, squeezing my feet into these size 9s, just hurting so bad. But then ever since then, I always did that with any skates I was wearing. And, you know, that was more than 18 years ago. I think even a little longer now. I'm 41. But I also was squeezing my feet into shoes that were too small. And during this time of staying with Juan, I actually didn't skate at all. we were doing other things together, but he let me have a size 10 pair of Vans, which normally, like I just said, I wear shoes too small. But I wore size 10 Vans. I think I described this in the last video we did, but I'll describe it again. For a month, I wore these size 10 shoes, which I never do, and my feet were able to stretch out to the actual size they are. And then I got here to Quebec, super hyped to skate with Matthew, and I couldn't because my feet hurt, because I couldn't fit into my size small thems. So that was a bummer, and I couldn't skate. I just couldn't skate.
Fortunately, he told me this on the internet, or on what's the app we use?
On Instagram?
Signal.
Oh, Signal, yeah.
So he told me this on Signal, and I got on Facebook, and I got on the Montreal message board, and I posted that Rob needs some size medium thumb skates to try out, to see if they fit better. And a skater brought some skates by that needed new sole plates and liners, so the shop put a new sole plates and liner in them, brought them to Robert in Sherbrooke a couple weeks ago when I met him there for the last edit we did. And that was really nice of them.
Yeah, I can show them.
Yeah, you can grab them.
Yeah, so I had like just arrived at the first session of the skate contest, and Jon was there. Just said hi to Jon. I put Jon's skates on, but then I was sitting, and a skater named David came up to me, and he said, "We brought you skates. Do you want them right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So he went to his car, and he pulled out these size medium thems, and he just gave them to me right there. Like, didn't say anything to me else, ask me anything. He just was like, "Here they are." Boom.
Super rad.
Just gave them to me right there.
Skaters in Quebec and Canada, really, really cool. Really nice. And they got Robert skates. We skated today.
Yeah.
He has a phobia. He thinks they look too big, but they don't. They look perfect on him. It's just being on skates too small for so long.
Well, okay. I have the phobia of that because compared to jamming my feet into skates and having this really tight fit, they feel like a size 14 or something. They're not, but I'm not used to having that much freedom in my toes. So
You'll see tomorrow we're going to go back to the skate park. We were there earlier, filmed a little bit, but it was really overrun with little scooter kids and skateboarders, and it's kind of weird flow. So we're going to go back in the morning, film some lines, and you can let us know in the comments what you think about the size on Robert's feet, because I think they look pretty good. So yeah, so the skates, he's on skates. Might have to get him some other ones, but they're working out.
Like right now, I feel like I need somewhere in the middle of a size small and a size medium, because the size medium still feels really big on my feet. So I have to just see.
So yeah, we'll figure it out. He's going to be going to, well, unfortunately he wasn't able to make it to Montreal because he doesn't have a car. And the shop has so many skates to try on, but without a car, you can't really get there from here. But Robert will only be in Quebec another couple weeks, and then he's going to be heading to Europe. And he's going to head to Portugal with Ricardo Lino.
Yes, I'm going to be going to Portugal to hang out with Ricardo Lino, who I have actually never spent time with, but have wanted to for some time now. We've been in communication for a while. And this is the summer we're going to make it happen. So I'm going to start there and go be with him and skate with him and live the Lino life.
The Lino life. Dude, Ricardo Lino had a clip in the intro of, or was it intro or the friends section of Leading the Blind? You didn't have a clip in Leading the Blind, did you?
No, I don't think
I think that's kind of sucks because you were a friend that should have been in there. So yeah, but Ricardo Lino, if you follow him, he has a skate shop with a skate park inside of it, and he's recently built bunk beds that people can visit there and stay at his skate park. And that's probably where you're going to be staying.
Yeah.
Unless he lets you in the house with the family. But, you know, staying at the skate park's be sick, which is me and Jared McBay. When we went to Unit 23 skate park in Scotland, which is like one of the coolest skate parks I've ever been to in my life. They let us stay there. It was like 20 euros a night. It was super sick, dude. It had like a bed.
Look at that.
And yeah, really cool. And anyway, this is going to be like that, except more camp style because it's bunk beds. But it's pretty sick that he's doing that, you know?
It's really sick.
Use that YouTube money he's making.
I don't know what YouTube is. I don't know what money he's making through what, but I just know he's a really hard worker and he really loves doing what he's doing.
Loves it.
With his family. It's like a family business. His wife roller skates. You know, all you got to do is see his YouTube channel, and you'll see everything there. They actually did a video on it recently. They're calling it The Shed.
The Shed, okay.
Yeah. That's the official name, is The Shed. I watched a whole video on it where they give a tour of it, and they do special events, and I think they like Airbnb it, and
that's really cool. I'd like to see more of those type of like skate hostel skate parks, you know?
Right.
I mean, they do that kind of with the, you know, like Schmitty's ramp camp and Clark Kirkman, but it's more like camping by a ramp, you know, but an actual skate park, private skate park with a lodging. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. And you've never been to Portugal before, right?
No.
So it's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah, Portugal's actually one of the places I've never been to. So I'm really excited.
It's gonna be a great summer, hanging out by the beach, skating around the city, traveling a little bit around Portugal maybe, hit up some of the different scenes. There's some really cool skaters like Cumbria and I'm not sure how to pronounce it in that town. A lot of good skaters in Portugal, really nice scene, cool dudes and ladies. Definitely it's gonna be an awesome time. And then after that, you're planning on visiting Mirek in Katowice, Poland, the home of Hedonskate, and Bladeville, which is their other shop. And Poland is, you know, massive in the skating world. They've got huge, nice skates, tons of aggressive skaters. And you've also never been to Poland.
Yeah, and I've also never been to Poland, but actually, that's one place I'm really excited to go.
I love Poland. I love it. Such a great place.
Especially because now, you know, nowadays when I'm on the social medias and stuff, I just see how big skating is there. And like, I see all these different schools and all these different kinds of people of different ages and shapes and colors, just really wanting to learn how to skate and going to these classes to do that. It's really inspiring to see that.
That is really cool.
As well as their history is just mind-blowing. Like learning lately just like more about the history of their country and the strength of their people and everything they've gone through. And yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. Definitely, if you get a chance, have Mirek take you around to some other cities, or maybe just go venture out on a train, visit some of the skaters. Very cool place. And then the last place you're considering going as well is to Spain for blading camp with Glowwiki and that crew.
Yes, I've been wanting to go to blading. Me and Josh have been in communication for I don't know how many years now. And every time it comes around to summer, we're like, do you think you could go? I don't know, like back and forth for like years. So this is the year that we're trying to make it happen.
So do they want you to be like a counselor or like a teacher or just a hanging out, visiting pro?
No, like a skate instructor slash Rob G.
Rob G,
guy.
legend skate instructor.
Yeah.
So we had a session today at the skate park, and I found this quite strange. There's not a lot of skaters in this city. You have Machuledo, and you have a skater named Pete, who's also really cool. But from what I understand, there's not a lot of skaters. So me and Rob are two guys blading at the skate park. The oldest two guys by far, by the way. You know, by like at least double. But some other rollerblader shows up, pulls up, he's wearing Razor Colts, skates, headphones on, doesn't look at either one of us the entire time. He's skating, Rob's shredding, the dude doesn't pay attention, and then he just leaves like 10 minutes later. I was like, God, I didn't even say hi or nothing. If I was like at a skate park in my hometown and I saw some bladers, like I would definitely be like, "What's up, dudes?" Right? Like, it was definitely bizarre. I mean, you know, maybe he was into his music, or maybe he was just quick skate between you know, work shift or something. But
Yeah.
it was definitely interesting experience.
No, there were some parkour guys also.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that before at a skate park.
Yeah, there were some parkour dudes just doing parkour at the skate park.
And filming, they were filming.
And then there was one of the guys had blades on, and then I think he was skating around and he took them off and was giving them to a friend.
Mm-hmm. But they were like more like rec skates.
Yeah.
And we did see a girl rec skating into town, and then we found a really cool trail that's brand new, and there was a couple people rec skating on that. So there's definitely a scene in Drummondville. The city's grown a lot since I was here last 3 years ago. So it's definitely one of these towns that's prospered during COVID, but which is good to see. Now, Robert, it was really good like catching up with you, talking about our past. I wanted to go over some of the clips that I filmed with you in the past and just kind of your reactions to watching them again. So you want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that right now.
All right. So I made a little video today, which I took clips from 4 videos I've made that Robert was in. There's probably more videos, but this is the only 4 that I could find in the short amount of time I had to put this together. So the first video we're going to watch is from a video I made in 1997 called America's Army. And Robert had a few clips in that. Then we're going to move into Scratched from 1998, and then his 2 sections from No One's Children and from Urban Decay. So we're going to watch these with Robert. And do reactions. All right. Get some water. Okay, so these are clips from America's Army. And this was a fun time back in 1997. I misspelled your name, Robert.
Oh man, I had the ultra wides.
Ultra wide.
Jason
Howard falling. Yeah.
So there's me and my oxygens doing unity both ways.
Ultra wides, the blue ones, and a 311 shirt, and I spelled his name Guerrero with
Oh wow, I have fatties right there.
ERO missing.
Oh, I totally spelled it wrong.
And then this is some credits from the video that we weren't supposed to see. Now, Scratched. This is the following year, early 1998. This is a spot by this is all by my parents' house, remember?
Oh.
Those ditches?
Yeah. Then we used to skate the ditches a lot, actually. Oh, that's a 0 switch alley.
And that was bird shit rail.
Oh, and that's a switch topside torque.
And that's the rail that one of the William Isaac 360 sweaty.
I forgot I did that.
Yeah, you did that. True porn on that.
Wow.
I forgot what ledge that was.
Man, wow, I'm like super oxygen skating in this time. Oh.
Have you thought about trying oxygen again?
Oh, switch out leap soul.
That's the ditch.
Oh, I was going so fast.
Oh, he almost didn't even make it to the street, and Andrew Broom 720 to the street.
Oh wow, dude, where is this?
This is Freestyle Skate Park in Kinnendale.
We drove to that contest and I skated in that contest.
So yeah, so it was me, you, and Lonnie.
Yeah. Wow. Oh man, I remember that.
And it's the park that Feinberg got kicked out of for being rude to the owner.
Oh, dude.
That was sick. And this is what Bowie High School. This is where Jayson
Oh
went.
man, those ledges were so nice. Oh, that was innovative for me at the time. Try and switch far side torque soles.
So this is Urban Decay. This is a section I filmed with him in 1998 when Lonnie and I went to Northern California. You're 18 years old here, and you're doing a long roll, 180, barely grabbed it.
This was before any sponsorship.
What skates you on here?
I'm on Razor Flats, the blue ones.
The ones that you got from John Elliott.
John Abina.
Or John Abina.
John Abina gave me the first pair of razors.
Okay. This day, at that spot, that's where Robert Leovanos and Louie were there too.
Oh, it switched true front torque. That was when I first started doing that trick. And I used to do the rewind off the Ali Mises because it was really difficult. This was the trip that you came and Jayson was there.
Yeah.
And all of the Portland crew.
The Portland crew was there too.
The Portland crew. I used to talk to Bryant Rutledge on AOL, and then
that's more the.
Oh yeah. This is Morrill.
Morrill.
Yeah.
We were talking about
so
earlier.
I used to live down the street from this school and skated by myself. Yeah. That's Silver Creek. So yeah, during this time, the Niños con Bombas crew would come and stay with me over Christmas vacation. And we would just skate every single day.
None of those guys skate anymore, right? They all disappeared.
No, I don't think so.
That's like a dead crew.
Yeah.
Should be a video, Dead Crews.
Dead crews. But they were like one of the best, anyone that knows.
They were really good, yeah. It was like Dom West or
yeah, Dom West. Or no, not Dom West.
No,
Dom Sagari.
Dom Sagari, that's
Dom
right.
Sagari's still around.
So, this is the Noah's Children's section we're about to watch, and this was one of my favorite videos I've ever put together, or one of the favorite sections. I like the song, Air, I like the skating. This was all filmed with the GL and the XL a little bit. That's that day that you did the disaster,
yeah.
front side. And this was Lonnie filmed this, right?
Wow.
Or Negretti?
I don't know.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't you?
No, it was
I
Lonnie.
thought it was you. Okay. This is San Jose. I think one of my homies filmed this.
Reduta.
Yeah. This was actually one of my favorite sections that I filmed.
Sick. Well, that's awesome because it was one of my favorites. So it's our favorite section.
Boom.
Boom. Good there. I always love this trick.
Oh,
Set slide across.
Yeah, that was really getting into the whole set slide thing and sliding over to locking grides.
And this day we had Connor was there, all the Santee guys.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of people in this session. I can't remember who all, but that was really sick.
Yeah, V filmed that.
Oh yeah, V.
V3000.
Whatever happened to V?
I don't even know how to describe the kind of art he makes, but he does some kind of art.
I always wanted to go to that spot.
Yeah,
probably still rounded now.
It's still there. You get kicked out though. It's a legendary spot. Now Brendan Tids just kills it.
That was a random spot. We went to San Diego. We went with some Minnesota guys. Like Nick Brennan was there, I think. Mm-hmm. That was again the same day as the disaster you're gonna do, which is right here.
Boom.
So sick, dude.
I was hyped. I was really hyped on that trick. This was when the whole carryover thing was happening, and now I watch it and I feel like I took it a little too far.
I think you could have left the last one off.
Yeah.
This spot was really cool too. Here's that Dallas King. This is the first time you did this switch up, right?
Yeah.
And you did it on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good choice. I like that.
You know, sometimes when you're out skating, you think you can just
look at that. That was the clip you just did where Dustin Landry was there and he gave you props.
Yeah, V filmed that.
Yeah.
V was making a video and was making a section with Dustin, so we went to Dustin's house.
There it is.
I got that.
Half cab soul. This crazy kink rail.
Yeah. Oh, I love kink rails.
That Chris Haffey couldn't even do.
I don't want to put it like that, but Jon could put it like that.
But yeah, right? All right, so that's the clips that I could find in a short amount of time I had. There's probably some more clips, and I'm gonna find them, and then we'll call up Ricardo Lino and Robert, and we'll go over those, and we'll catch up to see how Robert's doing in Portugal.
And I know Ricardo will be hyped.
You know, and Ricardo's down for that, and then we'll do it again when he goes to Mirek, because Mirek's a great friend of mine. Love Mirek. I actually filmed Mirek. The video after your section, Urban Decay, was Last Call. That's the video I went to Europe for 7 months, and I was in Lausanne, met Mirek. Mirek was the first person I ever filmed do a true kind grind on a handrail.
No way. No way, really?
That was a really cool carbon burp. But yes, and I also butchered his name, just as bad as I butchered your name in the first video. It's like Mirek. I don't even know how I spelled it. I'll find it. I'll put it right here in the video. You can see how I messed up. But he true kind grinded it. That was a really cool trip in Lausanne because that's where I filmed half of Albert Huey's section, which was his first section of the video.
Whoa.
Then I went to Dublin and filmed the rest of his section. And that's where they had the meeting where Jon from the CEO of Solomon at the time, where they had the meeting for, now I can't remember if it was the Shadow concept or if it was UFS. I feel like it was UFS because Shadow came after, UFS and Shadow came at the same time, so it might have been the same meeting. It might have been UFS and Shadow, but it was a very important meeting in Lausanne that year, 1999. And that was one of the craziest contests I ever went to. It was super rad. Great time. They have a downhill, they like set cars on fire, like gnarly. So yeah. Anyway, Robert, it was really great catching up with you. We're gonna film a little bit tomorrow, so we'll see if we come up with another video.
Yeah, we'll get something.
So we're gonna get something. So there'll be this video, and there'll be another video. Skating around. We did some trail skating today. That'll go in that. Some park skating. Maybe I'll get a clip too. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
You get that classic Jan Welch Mizu.
That's right. Or a tabernacle.
Or a tabernacle. Oh, we get the tabernacle. If you get a tabernacle, I'll do a tabernacle.
Okay, so we got 2 tabernacles on deck tomorrow. I might try a negative Macchio. My problem is, guys and ladies, I haven't skated in quite a while. I gained a bunch of weight this winter. It's been tough, and but I'm gonna get on the ball, get some tricks going. We're skating tomorrow in the morning. I'm gonna get a clip or 2.
2 tabernacles.
2 tabernacles.
I got one.
I already got. I'm getting a Mizu, no problem. Try some maybe Elite Mizu, maybe a negative Macchio, maybe a sweaty.
Okay. Well, I'll match.
We'll see. We'll match the trip. We're gonna be IMYTA Drummondville 2022 tomorrow. So, hey, thank you everybody for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. Right, Robert?
Like, subscribe,
like it, and subscribe to this channel. If you haven't
Smiley face icon.
hit the bell icon to be notified anytime I put up new videos on this channel, like the next one with Robert. I also recently put up an interview with Jeremy Baytall, which is really good. Part 2 comes out on Wednesday, so make sure and check that out when it comes up, which this video might even come out after that. I'm not sure when this video is even going up, but lots of content coming up on this channel. I also have a link to my Patreon page in the description below if you want to support this channel. And if you like what I'm doing, I have a link to a PayPal donation button. And I have links to my social media in the description below. So go ahead and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks so much for watching this. I will see you very soon here on the Done and Now Blading YouTube channel. Adios from Drummondville, Quebec.
From Drummondville.